The small town feel, the people who live here, a charming downtown, the welcoming environment, the local events, and the relationships built through generations of Fruita locals. These are the things that make Fruita, Fruita. As we see Fruita grow, it is important to keep these values in mind and find ways to sustain them. Today, I would like to talk about community growth and the realities of how Fruita is growing over time. Seeing Fruita grow and change might worry some, and some might be wondering how community values can be preserved. When growth is managed properly, community values are at the forefront of decision making and help guide growth in a way that is manageable. Let's look at how Fruita is growing and how the city of Fruita is prepared to support current and future residents for decades to come. To understand the big picture, we need to take a step back a few years. Back in 1998, there were only about 5,500 people living here, but by 2008, the population boomed to over 12,000 people. This rate of growth can be hard to manage, but luckily today, Fruita is now growing at a healthy, normal rate. Things are growing a bit slower. Instead of a super fast growth, we are seeing, on average, 250 people move to Fruita each year. When we take the population moving out of Fruita into consideration, we are seeing less than 2% growth rate each year. As you can see, we are growing, but not as fast as it may feel. As we see new developments come online, you may be asking, how do you keep Fruita feeling like a friendly community, even with more people? There are a few things we, as the city of Fruita, can do to help sustain Fruita's values. To do so, we have to look at our planning and zoning strategies. We first need to look at Fruita's land use map. In 2019, Fruita's land use map was updated during the community-led Fruita in Motion comprehensive planning process. A land use map helps showcase what areas of Fruita can be developed and how they can be developed. This provides guidelines on how the community grows and changes. It is important to note that before the land use map changed in 2019, the plan favored building single-family housing units, which requires larger plots of land with increasing costs of real estate and infrastructure maintenance. Prioritizing single-family housing units can lead to sprawl. Sprawl also lacks diverse housing options and can make it harder to build a walkable, pedestrian-friendly community. The first thing I want to point out is the urban growth boundary. Imagine a line drawn around the city, and anything within that line needs to be colored in. This is like filling in a coloring page. This line shows how much Fruita can grow. Filling in between the lines helps to maintain Fruita's small town feel by connecting the land in Fruita and keeping downtown Fruita the heart of the community. This strategy also helps the community separator between Fruita and Grand Junction. Now we have our coloring page, which defines the lines. We need to talk about how zoning helps us figure out how to fill it in. The different zones are like a map that shows what kind of buildings can be built in different areas. Zoning requirements also changed in 2019, allowing more flexibility within areas of Fruita. This change in zoning has had positive outcomes already. Let's look at a few zoning examples. Downtown Fruita, which is zoned for mixed use, which means you can have stores, apartments, and restaurants all in the same place. You may have noticed more restaurants coming to the downtown area and more diversity in the types of businesses. This change has also brought more housing options to Fruita to help provide more diversity to residents. Another noticeable change helping to improve housing options in Fruita is the change in our accessory dwelling unit policy. An accessory dwelling unit is a small, independent residential unit located on the same lot as a standalone house. Now, many areas in Fruita allow this type of construction to take place, giving homeowners the opportunity to build equity and expand housing options available. But growth isn't just about what you see. We are prepared to serve the community in other ways too. For example, the wastewater reclamation facility is at 50% capacity, leaving room for new housing units. We are always improving our infrastructure, including streets. Anytime a new development is built, they make sure to include things like walking paths, bike trails, and street improvements to help benefit the entire community. Each residential unit pays an impact fee for expanding our streets, sanitary sewer, and parks. As you can see, Fruita is growing strong. The city is using smart planning principles to keep this a great place to live, play, and explore. So whether you've raised your family here or are just discovering Fruita, we are excited to continue serving you and the Fruita community.